Turn it up. Look, 100 years after 100 years, they done lied to us about this and that. Told us all we from Africa. I made fiction characters turn into facts. Heard you tell me then it was not. No goddamn well that trick was capped. My wife and I wrote a book about it. It's a book with knowledge, evidence, and fact. And my other book got them haters shook, cause it's helping mind people take a closer look at their backgrounds in the background, showing my people where they supposed to look. Showing my people where they get it from, where they hit it from, all sorts of angles. When it comes to this research, you must please first, don't trust strangers. Find out all on your own is what I highly recommend and suggest. And if you looking for unsolicited content about me, I highly recommend you the best, which is my website at the link you see just across the screen. Don't let it miss you. I make it simple. I double down on that black and white. It's too official.
OCO, freethinkers. You're now tuned into the realest historian on the planet.
This brother, he is raising some serious questions.
He's here to make you think.
What I'm trying to do is get our people to understand that we have been lied to all the way around about our history. Can you name any other group of people, no matter their skin complexion, that are being labeled primarily as the name of two continents? Not two countries, two continents. That is called a misnomer, which is the act of applying a wrong name to some person or thing.
The best teacher you wished you had in school. Have your pens and paper handy and get ready to take notes.
I want y'all to check out somebody named Dane Calloway.
Dane Calloway?
Look into Dane Calloway. He has a lot of information about how this whole shit was told in reverse. Okay, where they say, oh, we came from Africa over here. No, a lot of us was already here.
And information that was put together by a man by the name of Dane Calloway, who is also questioning the slave trade. And he's done some remarkable videos on the history of the slave trade in the United States. And he's gone back down the food chain and gone back down the line, and he's realized that a lot of the so-called African Americans in the United States are not African at all. They're actually Native Americans, because the slave trade did not happen the way we were told that it happened.
It's Dane Calloway.
Dane Calloway. Go and watch this man's channel, man. This dude is phenomenal, and he don't get the accolade and his flowers right now. You know what I'm saying? Because this dude gives some powerful information, some common sense. Go dig deep and research. Maybe even have to spend a couple dollars on research if you truth seeking. Not fact checking, truth seeking. Because there's a difference.
It's Dane Calloway on I'm Just Here to Make You Think Radio.
OCO, beautiful people. Today's video is going to be a lot different from my other videos because I want to address this drifter that has been copying many people, including myself, just so his little credibility could stay afloat. Now, I've mentioned before that I have been on the receiving end of a ton of slanderous attacks by particular individuals who feel as though I am a threat, when in all actuality, you and I both know that I'm just here to simply educate our people with the absolute truth concerning our history and debunking many lies that have been told to us as children, with publicly verifiable evidence by way of research my wife and I have conducted. Now, ever since I began to release this information to the public in documentary format beginning in 2015, I've gained a lot of attention based upon the information being validated by those who have actually taken the time to write down the information that I present and cross-reference that material by researching it in order to confirm its authenticity and accuracy. But there are people out there who have an issue with allowing you guys to think freely. And not only that, they also take issue with allowing you guys to think for yourself again. Now, in the past, I informed my viewers that it will only be a matter of time for more of our people to become cognizant of their actual history by watching my informative videos and also sharing them with their loved ones, co-workers, and friends, etc. creating the dialogue amongst their inner circles to establish and promote positive change within our communities. And it worked, and it has been working for years now, and it will still reign supreme overall just because the truth has an impactful everlasting effect on free thinkers mentally, generally speaking. However, the truth is not meant for everybody to know, merely because everybody can't handle the truth mentally. Some would break down in denial of having their realities changed or tested. Some would even go as far as slandering the messenger of truth as their only reaction, simply based on how they were taught to receive new information, which would only be new to them because they had no idea about it, or they never bothered to research it themselves, or they never heard of it from a white man before, as if a so-called white man has more credibility than a so-called black man somehow. Or their reactions could be based on how they were raised as a child, either not having both parents in the household, or they could have been showing off in school simply because they didn't get enough attention at home. The patterns of these types of reactions of people being informed of the unpopular truth stem from how a person lives their life, or what they choose to deal with within their life. In other words, some people are just here to exist and fit in with crowds of people that deal in common, while another set group of people would deal in logic. That's the difference between being off code and on code. So just recently on Twitter, I called out this drifter by the stage name of Tariq Nasheed for numerous reasons that I felt needed to be known. In one of my previous live streams, I informed my viewers that I do not want my name attached to this individual, as if I agree with him, or we are on the same page and are doing the exact same things. No. The reason being is due to him now dubbing himself as a race baiter, which is nothing but a troll, antagonizing and disrespecting random people on Twitter for entertainment and YouTube content, who he claims are immigrants of other countries from other continents. But they're actors.
If you look at African immigrants, you look at the average household income, it's higher than the foolish black Americans.
So why do you have Boko Haram kidnapping whole villages in your homeland, sir?
Hey, young man, let me just direct you. Those Boko Haram guys are FBA terrorists sent to destroy the continent of Africa.
Zulu's Nigeria.
And that's in Nigeria. He's not Nigerian.
Oh, okay. So now we're picking and choosing which African nation is what. So that's what we're doing. So we're talking about different nations and ethnicities. We're a different nation and ethnicity as well. So what's superior? I want to know what's superior. And what is your culture, by the way? What exactly is your culture?
Zimbabwean.
Okay, what's Zimbabwean culture?
You mean Rhodesia?
First of all, I'm glad that you gave me a country that's not mine. So you can attack that country all you want. That's good stuff. But Tariq, right, they asked what my culture was. Young man, that's none of your business, young man.
But you brought it up, sir.
He's South African, the rape capital of the world.
He's not South African, guys. He's not from South Africa.
So basically, he's okay. A lot of people are ashamed.
Whatever he wants to be.
He don't even want to claim it.
Yeah, if you're so proud of your culture, why are you so ashamed to claim it, sir?
Young man, no one is ashamed of claiming anything here, young man. Unlike you have nothing to claim, young man.
Well, I don't claim fleeing. I definitely don't claim that.
Tariq, you fled to a white suburb. Shut the fuck up, man.
Well, stop it, sir. There's no such thing as...
a white suburb, bruv.
Stop it, sir. That's not fleeing, sir.
You made some money, cuz.
Sir, that's broke Sambo talk. That is broke Sambo talk, sir. That is broke Sambo talk. I'm a foundational black American.
To a white suburb.
No.
Y'all need to get yourselves a McGriddle.
All of this is my land. I can live anywhere on my land I want to, sir.
All of this is my land. Bro, you own nothing in America, bro.
Yes, I do. Yes, we do.
Bro, the baiter. This man owns Rikers, okay? Get it straight.
So I hear a lot of jealous tether talk from people who fled.
Tether talk.
Who would be jealous of you? Fentanyl backwards alcoholics.
Young man, I'm speaking from my country right now, so I don't know what you are talking about, okay?
Sir, you're speaking from your taxi over in New York somewhere. You're not in your home country.
Young man, I'm in my home country, young man, okay? Unlike you, Tariq Nasheed, you're not even in your home country. You think America is yours. You are nothing, young man. Anyways, we're going to let our African queen speak there. She has a hand up. Sharon, speak.
And this is my country, by the way, sir.
Tariq, shut the fuck up. It's not
No.
You own nothing.
I don't know what Black Americans own here.
What do you own in America?
Stop it. You don't own anything in your home. That's why you fled.
Shut the fuck up, man. You don't know.
I own more than you, and you fled.
And now, that's his business and his PR way of selling his book and having content on YouTube. But the issue I have is how he allowed his core following to slowly insert my name to enhance his credibility within these scripted bad acting disputes and conversations, as if I have an issue with immigrants or Africans for that matter, when I don't. His core following was constantly tagging my name with his name into these scripted bad acting performances when I have nothing to do with it, nor do I even want to be involved in something that has nothing to do with me or what I stand for in the first place. Years prior to all of this, I was informed by numerous people that Tariq decided to change his entire gimmick of being a pro-black, pan-African vlogger on YouTube into now starting his own political hashtag called FBA, which he copied directly from Yvette Carnell with her ADOS movement over some political disputes that they had with each other as partners, causing a falling out between them, and him branching into his own scam of things. Now, my issue with this was when he randomly decided to claim that he's now a Black Native American or Aboriginal, and that Black people were here before any immigrant arrived on these shores. This may sound familiar to most of you here, but then he also twisted the narrative and said that yes, we are Aboriginal to America, but we are still all Africans from Africa that were brought to America by the white man on slave ships.
Right.
Okay.
And the third was, how many people do you think out of Black Americans have ties? You could say a rough percentage or a majority or minority or small or whatever you feel will capture your answer. How many of us do you think are tied to, 100% or has, people tied to Indian versus people who are absent of any ancestry from Africa?
Right. I think now that number might be hard to quantify because, like we've been saying, there is no records and Black people could not keep records. It's my conjecture that I would say the majority of foundational Black Americans have African and Black Aboriginal bloodline in this country because we've been here so long. We've been here longer than any other group documented.
And I'm sure most of you noticed the contradiction there, which means that he has no idea what he's talking about. Or he just doesn't care to be correct because his core following is indoctrinated anyway. So why not tell them anything that they want to hear, just as long as he gets paid off of their ignorance? And it's both, actually, because he watched my videos in order to write down the easiest things that he could repeat without having to do any research, in order to make it seem as if he knows more about the topic, and then literally act his way through into getting people to donate or buy whatever he's selling to them. I mean, he did show his true hidden colors by saying that he thinks Black people are dumb.
We're going to build a system that control all people of color. We're going to do this and do that, and then the people of color have fallen into that.
Great question.
So somebody had to be smart and somebody had to be dumb.
Yep.
And it seems to me that the people of color are the dumb one because, as you said, it's the white people who are making this happen, right?
I agree 100%.
And why not overcome being dumb rather than trying to stop the smart man from doing what he does?
Because non-white people are too dumb to get smart.
Really?
Yeah.
And so those same people that he calls dumb are the same people supporting and funding his dreams and aspirations of becoming the biggest scam artist to ever infiltrate the so-called Black community. Now, some of you may recall him and others taking shots at me for proving with hard evidence that both Harriet Tubman and Nat Turner are fictional characters created by acts of Congress and their individual foreign and domestic authors. Multiple people would randomly ask these drifters like Tariq that dread that I'm not a Caucasian and that I prove to the world all claims made. How do they feel about working with Dane Calloway? And this is how he decided to respond.
And one more thing before I hang up. Won't you and the brother Dane collab, bruh? Y'all talk about the same thing.
No, that nigga's a clown. He's a clown. Yeah, let's keep it real. No, man. This dude talking about, didn't he say some shit? Harriet Tubman didn't exist. She was made up. Do you believe that?
He said Harriet Tubman and the brother that's supposed to be a runaway slave. Neither one of them. Nat Turner. He said neither one of them.
Do you believe that?
I believe what was the narrative, bruh. I ain't got no choice but to believe, because my grandmother, my great grandmother, and my other great grandmother has always told me that they existed. You know what I mean? They said they never had anything. They never was told that they family were slaves.
No, that's not. No. Okay, no.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Thank you. That's not the point. The point is this dude up here, this clown nigga talking about Harriet Tubman didn't exist and slavery really didn't exist. Just dumb shit. No, I'm not good. No, you don't collaborate with trolls, man. Y'all stop that. When y'all hear something stupid, just acknowledge it's stupid. Y'all know niggas out here just be saying anything for YouTube clicks. That's not who you. We got serious business we doing over here, man. Let's get off that, man. You need to hook up with this clown ass nigga. No, I don't. No. Come over here with that. That's offensive. Motherfuckers over here talking about Harriet Tubman didn't exist and we get no. I'm not hooking up with nobody who's just saying dumb shit for YouTube clicks. No, I don't need to hook up with them.
So, in an attempt to disapprove my claims made and proved, I want you to notice how he didn't provide a drop of information that could possibly debunk the claims I've made still today. He just simply asked the guy, does he believe that? When it's not about what you may believe, it's about what you know based upon what you can actually prove. I believe those folks out there with big platforms are afraid to debate me concerning my claims made and proved, because they either watched my videos on this topic or purchased my book on this topic or both and saw all of the evidence that I presented, and they're scared. So when this audio of his was sent to me, and since he decided to throw insults instead of educating the people listening as to why he knows that I am wrong and can prove it, but he didn't, I decided to respond to his insults in a professional manner that actually pissed him off, of course, because I informed the people about why foundational Black Americans do not exist. Oh, see you, everyone. Just wanted to have a conversation with you guys about a couple of things here. I just wanted to bring this up to let you guys know that, don't get distracted by certain things that you see, because a lot of people are in it for different reasons, okay? A lot of them cannot regurgitate particular information that I even present to you guys because they're not really historians or they're not really researchers. They're in a totally different field and they're in it for the money. I mean, it's obvious. I mean, because they will switch up every 3 years in order to keep their crowd moving. But with me, of course, I've been stating the same things for quite some time now and been presenting a lot of factual information that you guys can go back and check up on, and which I highly recommend and always do so. I always tell you not to believe anything that I state. I want you to write it down and look it up for yourself. You are responsible in that sense. But yeah, I mean, the majority of the information that I present, a lot of people are banking on, which is a great thing. And then there are people that state that they don't listen to me and they turn right around and regurgitate verbatim, damn near, the information that I present. So I know they're listening to me, and it's hilarious because what they're trying to do is just overstep their boundaries and they can't answer particular questions. So they'll fall back on the so-called black term. And there's multiple different terms that I disagree with, and I've been telling you guys this for quite some time. The reason why I disagree with certain people that you see out there, especially those that are creating this thing called foundational Black America, is no such thing. Number one, the term black wasn't even utilized amongst our own people until the 1960s, so that's a brand new term. That has nothing to do with how America was founded. Straight up. Like, our people were not referring to ourselves as black people during the time of founding or with creating America. Okay, there's a lot of terminology that I do not like using. Okay, and I keep telling you guys this because it doesn't represent us. What it does represent, like when you use terms like black, what it does represent is that you're being comfortable with allowing strangers to call you whatever they want to call you. And some of you guys would turn your nose up at that statement and say, well, I mean, we've been saying it for years now. What does it matter, Dane? That matters a great deal. That matters a great deal because everybody else, every other class or race, whatever one you want to use, will be looking at us as if, well, I mean, he or she doesn't even know who they are, what they want to be, and anything. Like, you just allowing a stranger to dictate what you are. And what is black? What is that? Like, I mean, yeah, we have a culture. We didn't just create this culture. The culture was already here prior to our people agreeing with calling each other black. Just allowing a stranger to do that. We had everything already. The legacies, the cultures, the languages. So we still gonna latch on to something a stranger called us? See, and what I'm trying to get people to understand is the way it's represented in law and the way it's represented by definition is stating that it's non-existent right now. Like, so you can't lean on the fact that it's a color because nobody else is calling themselves or representing themselves by way of color. There's no such thing as brown Americans, yellow Americans. Then it should be no such thing as black Americans. Think about that. This is how you know, and I keep telling people this is how you know that term, black and white, are both statuses in this government. Because not all people who are labeled as white are of Caucasian descent. Okay? You have East Africans, you have some West Africans, you have North Africans, you have Haitians, you have some people coming from South America being labeled as white, and we share the same skin complexion. This is how you know that terminology is a status. So when you turn around and label yourself as black, what does that mean? That means that you're null and void. This is the reason why the reparations argument hasn't been looked past being looked at. It didn't gradually go to a different step where it goes in motion because you're still referring to yourself as being non-existent. Reparations are not owed to black people because it wasn't black people in the 1800s. It did not exist then. Prior to the 1900s, you're not going to see that terminology. And when they started using the term black, it was strangers using it. It wasn't us. Foreigners were using the term black. So why would you allow a stranger to dictate who you are? And do you want to turn right around and say, well, our ancestors founded America? That's true, but they didn't call themselves black. Well, Dane, what do we call ourselves? You call yourself who you are, meaning by your tribal affiliation, whatever tribe or family that your family was associated with. And see, there's another thing that a lot of people want to just, no, that's too much work and I don't want to do that. But you're being lazy again. You need to find out who you are instead of categorizing yourself by these generic terms that are basically social constructs that were created for you. And they're not working in your best interest. You're literally shooting yourself in the foot by stating that you're black. That is not your skin complexion. 1, you shouldn't be trying to call yourself by your skin complexion. 2, 3, where does it state that a black person or a black citizen has any rights? I dare anybody to look that up. You're not going to find it. It doesn't exist. And this is a public service announcement to those of you that feel comfortable with calling yourself these generic terms, these social constructs. But yet you want things to change, but you're not making changes for yourself right now. And then you want to turn around and call people like me who are letting you know that this is totally incorrect. You want to call us radical. Oh, he's against the people. I'm not against the people. I'm for the people. I wouldn't be stating this otherwise. If I wasn't for the people, I would tell you to continue calling yourself black, knowing that it's not working with you and it's working against you. You know, and that's how you can tell who your real enemy is. I put out a lot of information in multiple different ways, even government records, government documentation, to prove to you that these are nothing but social constructs. I have videos out on the census and the census records and their enumerators. From the time it started till now, their instructions, I went over their instructions. Well, how they had to categorize our people by somebody else's labeling, by somebody else's classifying. We did not agree to this, guys. We never did. So we shouldn't have to settle just because it's more commercially known, or rather commonly known. We shouldn't have to settle with calling ourselves black when we're not black. Look, if we're going by complexion, we're all different shades of the color brown, okay? That's what should allow you to raise a red flag about that term. You have to question everything. Why do we have Black History Month if black means non-existent? It's a reason why. They want to wipe out your history. And look, and if you notice over these years of you guys knowing how the Black history routine is, who benefits from it? Retail stores or anybody selling something, not the people. Am I right or wrong? Because nowadays, our people don't even want to hear about the slave stories and whatever they want to bring up. But you know who's benefiting? Netflix and Amazon and stuff like that. Companies are going to be able to push that as another campaign, as another special event. And, you know, people fall for it. Our people especially. Oh, that's designed for us, when it's the exact same thing just now. Or let's put up the movies with black voices. And they have their own section up under Amazon Prime and Netflix. That's silly. These are the videos that were non-existent. So here, let's put them in the forefront now. Really, that's why I remember when I told YouTube, don't add me to the black voices or the black creators. Don't do that. Put me in the same algorithm as everybody else, because how come they are not categorized? The white voices, the white creators, that doesn't exist. I told YouTube straight up, don't put me with none of that. That has nothing to do with me. I'm not labeling myself black. I'm here. I'm existing. And so should you. You should feel that exact same way. That's my message to those people that are falling for that terminology. And then they turn right around and get mad because I'm telling people, hey, I mean, originally we were, and this is another label. And I told you this, it's another label, American Indian. I said that our people are the Niji. These are the indigenous people, the Aboriginal people of this landmass. And I told you where it came from. But when it comes to this government, the government were talking to the wild Indians, the urban Indians, the American Indians, the Ameri Indians. Indian. That was another term that was utilized that, no, we didn't call each other that, but strangers labeled us that. And I told you guys the reason why you would want to use that term is because the government knows who the American Indians are. And I told you it's not the native. The native came way later, 1970s later. And they are not referring to the American Indians. I told you why. I showed you why. Okay? But that is the only time you would need to refer to yourself as American Indian, when you're dealing with the government. Or just refer to yourself as, you know, what your tribe referred to yourself as. For example, some of you may be Creek. What you gonna say? You Creek Black? You Creek American? No, you're not gonna say neither of that. I'm telling you guys, we gotta get this together, because there's a lot of people that are over 40 trying to, you know, cause confusion, still wanna label us black, when that's actually not working for us. Okay, I don't want nobody else that's over 40 to take what I'm saying personally, but you know who I'm talking about. There's a lot of them out there that are just in it for the money and steering our people in the wrong directions. We need to be doing everything on our own, top, bottom. We need to revamp everything. We allowed strangers to dictate who we are, okay? We should know our stories. We should not rely on strangers in school to tell us what happened. When our elders know what's up. Look, when you try to go get a genealogy DNA test, they send you a paper, like a certificate, like you just graduated from high school. And what? They're telling you your percentages of what you may have and your bloodline. Once again, you relying on strangers' information. That's working backwards. That's working against you. Versus you taking your word of your own elders that were around prior to you, that were around prior to this genealogy DNA test, which started in the 80s, by the way. That was at the same time the internet came about. That's brand spanking new. There's nothing ancient about that. And that technology is not advanced enough to tell you each generation of your family, because it's multiplied by 4. 2 mothers, 2 fathers. That means it's going to be 2 grandmothers, 2 grandfathers, so forth and so on. 1 mother and father. And they both have a mother and father. That's what I'm getting at, guys. That technology does not exist to tell you about your distant cousin. The reason why is because they're not coming back with names. They're coming back with numbers. Anybody can manipulate the numbers. That's why I disagree with that term, the phrase that says men lie, women lie, but numbers don't lie. Yeah, numbers do lie when it's men or women that control them. During one of my podcast videos on the date of April 22nd, 2022, I informed my viewers that there are people out there copying my work and research, so I'll be publishing my works a bit differently. I told them I was going to be putting them out as books and movies, and also that I'll be updating and re-releasing my 2018-2019 popular documentary concerning the truth about Bill Cosby, which is still up for rent or sale, by the way, on my website right now. And I tell you, don't believe me. You can actually write everything down and check it for yourself. Stop using Google. Start asking your elders or your family members. I've been saying this. You know what? Because when I turn up and start taking it to another level with this research and this information and put it on my channel, you know what those people going to do? They'll be like, "Now he don't know what he's talking about. He this, he that." They're going to be writing stuff down so they can talk about it. I was the first person that came out and said that Harriet Tubman and Nat Turner was not real. They're fictional characters, right? Sooner or later, you're going to find out they weren't real. If you want to know right now, my evidence is out there. But sooner or later, it's going to pop up. Watch. Watch. And look, and they can't say that I wasn't the first person to say it because I published the book. It's published, copyrighted. Okay? You can't take it. You can't say it's yours. I've been did this. And that's why I say, you know what? All the information I've been talking about, I'm putting them out as books, publishing them. Okay? Movies too. Because there ain't gonna be no, I said this, I said that. Nah, I did the research. I remember somebody tried to latch on to my research with my Bill Cosby movie. And they started doing the little tweets, acting like they was doing research, copying my research, okay? And I did a full-fledged movie, and by the way, it's gonna come out again. I'm gonna put it out differently. We gonna do everything different. And of course, he's watching me because 5 days later, on the date of April 27th, 2022, he does an interview with Bill Cosby's PR, claiming that he'll be making a documentary about Bill Cosby and exposing what happened. Copycatting. Now, as soon as I got word of this, I immediately called him out on Twitter because I felt as though it was time to call him out since he has been copying me previously and still getting it wrong. Shout out to American Indian Truths for updating our exchange on Twitter. It went like this. "You're doing too much now. Heard that you're now doing a movie about Bill Cosby only after I have researched, written, and produced and published a documentary about Bill and what really happened. If I catch you using my content on my research, which is all copyrighted, I will sue you. You've been watching my content just to copy me and my research in order to scam the community into thinking you're legit. I just recently brought up that I'll be re-releasing my Bill Cosby doc shortly during a recent live stream. Then you bring on his PR to your show days later? You're watching me and copying my content all the time, and people know it. But now, don't think that I'll let you use my research or any of my content for your movie without my permission. You will be held accountable for your actions legally, you fake black activists. Try me. And at this point, I added him because I know he already following, so I added him to make sure that he could see it. Oh, Tariq knows that I'm talking directly to him. These boule gatekeepers will not be able to block me from reaching my people, nor stop me at all for that matter. The truth is spreading, maybe not as fast as a lie, but it's still spreading regardless of how some may feel. Calling me out of my name just because you cannot refute the information that I present with hard evidence from primary sources to possibly debunk it proves that you're not what you self-proclaim to be. Resulting to insulting me proves that I am correct and struck your nerves. And then I just randomly tweeted this and said there are people out there that can resemble our people, but that doesn't mean that they are strictly for our people in a sense that one may assume. These people are actors and actresses hired and placed in the spotlight to distract you from the truth by performing acts of entertainment. And since I knew he was watching my tweets, I tweeted, he was hired to play a role of a fake black activist, perform entertaining acts by covering trendy topics, but stir up controversy by provoking unrelated people into joining the reparations convo and troll them. But blame it on white supremacy, then say the solution is a museum. I know that I heard him right there, and that's probably what got him to respond. That was a thread tweet, so I said it's time to remove these infiltrators from our communities and even our community advancement conversations. Meanwhile, I'm just here to make you think, and you all are witnessing just how serious the indoctrination process has become amongst our own people. And this is why I'm here to save at least 13% of us, so we can force the right changes to occur for our future generation's sake. So he chose to respond to the one where I added him. Got up under there saying, oh Lord, you're trying to fish for a way to clout chase and use my name for YouTube clicks. That's his deflection tactic. Once again, peep how he deflects everything that I just mentioned to him. I responded by saying, I don't need the clout. I'm actually in a good place already. But you and I both know why I'm coming at you right now. Don't play victim now for your crowd. We both know exactly what you were doing and what you did. We can make this a public or private conversation. It's up to you. So I gave him an opportunity to speak with me directly, but he decided to continue on and do it on the net. Then he said, you are not in a good place. You are jealous and salty because your bootleg wannabe hidden colors vids are getting no real traction. And you have to wallow in my shadow. I have to try to create a non-existent beef that's one-sided because you are a complete nobody to feel significant. And I responded, oh, I am somebody, especially if you had to copy me in order to stay afloat. If I was nobody, you wouldn't respond to me right now, and we both know that. I never bothered to watch your films. I write and produce my own with my own budgets. Apparently that's striking your nerves. Then he says, you're projecting and fantasizing. Boy, you are an obsessed fan who has me living rent-free in that mind, but a buster like you can never be me. That's why you hopped in my mentions to whine to me like a bitch. Childish response. I came back and said, that's incorrect. I mentioned you because you're copying my works, because you knew that that Pan-African door has closed on you. But the issue is that you're still stating my information wrong with a Pan-African twist to it. You're not a researcher, you're a journalist, remember? At this point, I'm antagonizing him to get him to admit to the truth. So he deflects by saying, look at your social media engagement. Neither I nor anyone else listens to you. You have literally reduced yourself to trolling to get attention. That's why you're an unknown nobody. I have all the respect you wish you had. So stay in your lane and remain a jealous fan. Yeah, the guy's delusional. I said, I'm not a fan of any comedian, honestly, and you looking at my numbers on Twitter alone has nothing to do with what I just mentioned about you to you directly. Stop deflecting the conversation as if you're the victim. You're a copycat that pretends to be somebody you're not in real life. Then he got in his feelings and said, so what's the purpose of hopping in my mentions with all that whining you were doing? What are you going to do about this stuff you are whining about besides whine harder? And see, I got him right there. So what he did was he's not denying it. So that means he's admitting it. So then I wanted everybody to see that was watching our tweets. So let's make this clear. You're not only admitting that you're copying me in order to stay relevant, but you're also asking me what I'm going to do about it. Then he came back and tried to use my words to twist the narrative as a deflection tactic. So basically you are admitting that you're going to sit here all day and whine and lie. So that's your way of tapping out and admitting defeat. That was easy because I don't listen to women whine to me. So I damn sure won't listen to a man whine to another man. Immediately he deflected. He had no choice. And he did not state that he's not copying me. I want you to peep that. So he is letting that fly. So everybody knows now that he's copying. Then I repeated it again. So it won't be no issues when people watch this like, oh, he didn't admit it. Yes, he did. If you consider me calling you out for copying me in order for you to stay relevant, whining, then that's your comedic way of downplaying the truth. Are you sure you want to exit this conversation like that with all of these people watching what we are saying right now? I meant to say exit. I just noticed I put exist. He never responded. So I just tweeted, see how I always get them gatekeepers to tell on themselves? Oh, and American Indian Truth noticed that Polo G. Well, shout out to my bro Polo G. He said, that's why despite the shit you talking, you gonna tune in every time. Shout out my brother. Then I tweeted, when I shared that he's a paid actor, he runs the insults. When I got him to admit that he's copying me in order to stay relevant, he runs the insults. When I said I dare you to prove my evidence wrong about Harriet and Nat, he runs the insults. These gatekeepers are all the same. I believe American Indian Truth probably missed that part because Tariq and I went back and forth on that Harriet and Nat thing. And I got him to shoot himself in the foot again and he ain't want no smoke. Then I tweeted, even though some of you may feel as though we all need to get along, that's a problem. Because how will you then be able to differentiate your teammates from your enemies when they're all dressed up the same? War can't be avoided when there are people who are pretending. Now, all that went on June 4th, okay? And he didn't respond. That was it, right? Well, at least I thought. Then somebody retweeted what I said about him copying my Bill Cosby stuff. And that person put up, he was literally talking about doing a documentary on Bill Cosby months ago, bruh. And that's, keep in mind, it's on June 7th. This was 3 days later. Now, I responded to that person. I said, after he watched my documentary, bruh, been out since Bill Cosby was getting harassed. Gave him the link. Then all of a sudden, he pops back up in my mention. See, this is how you know when a person guilty. Does anyone believe I even remotely listen to this, y'all? I want you to peep game. Does anyone believe I even remotely listen to material from people who claim Harriet Tubman didn't exist? That's a deflection tactic because the truth did come out. Watch this. And then I responded, if it doesn't apply, you'll let it fly. But you can't because you know it's the truth. Then you make sure to add in some deflection statement hoping to take the heat off of you for being a copycat. You're still running scared from an intellectual debate with me for that reason. He didn't respond to me, but somebody responded to me and said this would be a good debate. Then he responded to that person saying, who debates nobodies? Person responded and said, I'm just saying, I schedule to watch that with the fire emojis. Somebody said he won't debate Dane because Tariq is a Freemason who works with the same so-called white supremacists he speaks about. If he thinks Dane is misleading the black people he cares about, why on earth wouldn't he debunk Dane in order to wake up Dane's followers? Tariq is an agent. That's true. Then somebody chimed in and said, y'all need to chill. Imagine the impact it'll make if y'all work together. Both of y'all are leaders, because both of y'all got a large following. And because y'all are at odds, y'all followers are at odds too. I seen both sides talking shit about each other. We don't got time for this. I agree with this brother to a certain extent. Tariq responded to him with Jordan laughing. And then he responded, I'm just saying I rock with both of y'all. Y'all both do y'all thing. Y'all both fighting against white supremacy in y'all own lanes, but fuck it. Oh, okay, so then he eventually responded, still June 7th, you won't stop harassing me. Listen to him. I'm harassing him, but you popped up in my mentions. You won't stop harassing me. I guess he's saying that because I told him you won't debate me. You won't stop harassing me. You are desperate for my attention like a woman. Obsessed fans such as yourself are scary. I responded to him and said, still running from the truth I called you out on. Playing victim is your cop-out plea, and still scared to debate me knowing that we both have large platforms, and I'll tell the whole truth about you. If I'm a nobody, why are you still in my mentions days later after I called you out? And then I put up a meme picture that said, don't move. I'm filming a documentary about retards. He never responded to that. He never responded back on Twitter. That was it, right? Left it alone. But after I directly called him out and got him to expose himself on Twitter and even told him that he's afraid to debate me intellectually, he ran to YouTube and created a video about me without my knowledge, way under the radar. He didn't even have the balls to say my name in the title of the video, nor did he have the balls to even mention me on Twitter with the @ to show his viewers that he ain't scared of me. But what's eerily odd about this video is how he marks my talking style and the way I present information, but with his hand up a puppet's ass as if he's obsessed with watching Sesame Street as an adult. Weirdo shit. And according to the date of his video, he actually published this the last time we spoke on Twitter when I called him out to debate me intellectually. So he can prove that he can debunk the evidence I presented concerning Harriet and Nat. So since he can't do that, he resulted in insulting my character and slandering my name like a child. And he also shot himself in the foot because didn't he say that he doesn't watch me and nobody will watch somebody like me or take me seriously and I'm copying him? Isn't it quite obvious that he is watching me? According to how fast he put his childish puppet show together in order to do damage control since I exposed his scams. So I did some research to find out if he truly had a mental issue going on or not, because he had to have some type of problem, right? I mean, who resorts to making a puppet show when being called out for a debate and being called out as a scammer and being called out as a copycat? And I discovered that he's been copying a lot of people in order to stay relevant for years now. So this is nothing brand new. When I called him a paid actor, that's true, because his stage name is Tariq Nasheed, but his birth name is Marcus Sanders. The name Tariq Nasheed is a Muslim name, and the Aboriginal or indigenous people of this landmass did not practice any form of Muslim religion. So now you know that he's misleading you. Maybe he changed his name based on his own personal religious beliefs, or he could be hiding his past from the public's eye for a particular reason. Hoping to start fresh, Marcus changed his name in order to portray himself as a fake pimp for entertainment, in order to sell his soul for money and fame, selling pickup artist books and begging white people to hire him on MTV as an actor playing the role of a comedic pickup artist. that can only teach the game to prey on women to white people for entertainment.
Anybody can say there's a pimp. I go to a club and a lot of young guys, I'm a pimp, I'm a pimp, I'm a pimp. But you can tell them the attitude. I even wrote a book on the game, man. I got a book. I'm one of the 5 pimps in history to actually have a book about the game. That's okay. So that's basically the cheddar that you guys are spreading around here in Washington, D.C. That's the money.
That's the money. That's the big money. And I don't think that you...
Mind you, our people are the most successful in the arts and entertainment field because that is the only field these strangers would allow our people to excel in while still under their control.
Well, no, baby J-Dog, I'm not upset with you, man. I mean, you know, I don't hate the player, I don't hate the game. You know what I'm saying? I don't play or hate, I congratulate, baby. And you a pimp. I mean, really, I mean, what other euphemism can we use?
Keep in mind that this is the same guy that screams white supremacy is a problem 24/7, as if white people are somehow personally treating him as a slave. And then he's sure to include our people's struggle into his gimmick just to make the viewers or listeners relate to him.
I feel like a victim of white supremacy.
So you feel like a victim?
I'm a victim. I'm a victim of white supremacy. Yeah.
And so are they holding you back financially?
Holding me back financially? Well, they can.
Are they?
They can.
Are they?
They can.
No, but are they?
They can.
Well, I didn't ask you if they could.
Can. If I get too powerful, yeah, they'll chop my stuff down just like they chop everybody else's stuff down. Now, for example, we get into that money. I want to unpack that. I want to unpack that about that whole money thing.
Are they holding you back?
You can make a lot of money. They'll do the Bill Cosby thing. They can put all types of crazy charges on you. They can deplete your money. So
are they holding you back financially?
What do you mean are they holding me back? I'm in a prison called white supremacy that's global. So we're allowed, certain black people are allowed to have certain resources, but they know they can take it back.
Are they holding Tariq Nasheed back financially?
I'm in a system where they can hold me back.
But right now they're not holding you back.
Well, they can hold me back.
Are they holding you back?
Define holding me back.
You don't know what, are they holding you back from being successful in your life?
Well, I'm successful because I understand white supremacy, and I'm successful as far as I can be, as much as I can be, because they can stop my success at the drop of a hat. There was Malcolm X was successful until they killed him. Dr. King was successful until they killed him. Well, so I can still be killed no matter how much money I have.
Are you saying?
So I don't define my success through money.
Right now, they're not holding you back.
Yes, I'm telling you, in a system of white supremacy, they can murder me with impunity right now.
Do you feel that they are
holding me back?
Marcus stole these ideas from his next door neighbor, a real pimp by the name of Rosebud. In an audio interview about Marcus, Rosebud exposed him for what and who he really is.
You ever gonna put Tariq Nasheed on your show, like invite him to kick game with you, how you be kicking it with the other players? I think that'll be like a live ass show. You and Tariq.
Just get a live show. Tariq won't come in. Tariq won't come on my show, man. No, why not? Because he just think I'm against him. You know, we had a conversation, you know, and he just think I'm against him. You know, I don't believe some of the shit he be saying, you know, and, you know, no matter what, man, Tariq will tell you, that motherfucker got laced by me, period. But he lived in the same building with me way before he wrote the Art of Mackin. Something happened to him, man, and he's tripping, you know, hate people. And he's just like, you know, to be a black person talking about blackness, and all we do is just name call motherfuckers, man. Just call people names, man. And you know, my motherfucking personal friend of mine, man, I listened to him. I heard this shit personally, where he was talking about his wife and her ancestry and all this fucking stupid shit. You know, this really
I feel what you're saying.
I'm just saying, man, he just tripped out, man, you know, so let me tell you something about that nigga. When he started talking, when he told me he was going to name that shit the Art of Mackin, because we lived in the same building. Sometimes we on the elevator, he'd be talking to me, blah, blah, blah. And you know, what the fuck you doing? Why you asking me all these fucking questions? Woo. He just told me about he was going to write a book about the Art of Mackin, you know, and she was, you know, asking me all this shit because he knew who I was. And I'm saying to this nigga, man, look, hey, if you finna use what I'm saying to be in a book about Mackin, because I told the nigga right there, when you use that fucking word, you're already scared of what's going on. Because, see, that's why definitions mean something to people like Tariq. When you have a use a definition, that means you can fake whatever the fuck is going on. You don't need definitions when you're really about the game. If you're really about whatever it is, you take your ass out there, or whatever it is that attracts you. Let's say you use it for a fast dollar. You could be a gambler, you could be a dope dealer, you could be a drag motherfucker, you could be a con artist, you could be a burglar, you can rob banks. There's so much shit you could do when you decide to go out there. But when you go out there, whatever it is that attracts you will attract you. And you won't fucking need no definition, because what attracts you will define what it is, and as it defines itself, it will tell you what every fucking thing else means. Because what you're learning from what you're doing is real. If you don't do any of it, all you getting is definitions, like that fucking nigga Tariq kid. The definitions. That's all that nigga get. That's why that motherfucker tell you about a Mac and a player and a hustler and a pimp. Man, this motherfucking nigga don't know nothing about no goddamn none of them motherfuckers, man. Because all them motherfuckers is the same motherfucker. They just chose what they chose. He don't know that. And he won't get mad at me if you ever hear this show. I ain't give a fuck, but if you do, he gonna be saying, man, well, you should have been, cause it's the truth, nigga. You ain't never did shit. You ain't never been no motherfucking where.
But it was years ago, though, before he got on that pro-black shit, before he was on that hidden color shit, he was on that cool shit.
Well, he on that goddamn bullshit, man. He better than everybody, man. Fuck you, man. I'm just saying, man. You know, I hate this. I don't want to put my shit on this nigga, so let me get out here, man.
While conducting investigative research on Marcus, I noticed a common pattern with this childish-like misbehavior. Apparently, he has a personal vendetta against our women, because most of the altercations of his past involved our women, arguing with our women, trolling them, and calling them all sorts of names outside of what their mothers gave them. And to top it all off, he even displays his true hidden colors when in verbal disagreements with our women.
Not doing it to dog you. I want us to have better relationships.
Can you talk a little bit more about that as far as speaking the language?
Yeah, like there are certain languages that we speak. Like my man, if I don't have dinner cooked when he comes home, he doesn't say anything, but I watch that he doesn't like it, right? So I know, to do that. Or if his voice gets a little bit strong, I know to be quiet and let him finish saying what he needs to say. Also, instead of me saying, no, I don't like that, I said, what else are you thinking? You see, there's a language to men. There's techniques and strategies that I had to learn in order to get a man. And I want to teach other black women this so that true men can be men.
I don't believe that. I don't believe you talk to your man like that.
Well, you got to read the book. You have to read my book.
Pearl, if I were your man, I would beat the shit out of you. I would be.
Why?
I would be I would get all types of domestic violence charges. I would.
Why?
I couldn't.
Because my angry black woman, my God.
Listening to you and the disrespect that you have for black men.
I think black men should be more. They should take their responsibilities as men more seriously. You're providers and protectors. That's what men are, and we're your responsibility. And so are your children, and you're not doing that. And I don't know any sane man that would sit there and say that I'm being ridiculous. That's the truth.
Responsibility. We're not.
But when it comes to foreign women, he's nonchalant and comfortable with treating them like royalty, as if he's still a slave to white supremacy somehow.
But I dated a white girl. Nigga, didn't I tell y'all I will fuck the shit out of Brooke Hogan? Yeah, I dated a white girl, nigga. Hell yeah. I'm not, I'm very pro-black, but nigga, I will raise up the flag of Europe in the bedroom.
Then he admits that all pro-black men, or now known as Pan-African men, are dating white women.
Why do brothers who are pro-black hate on players that have white girls? But I notice a lot of guys who are pro-black have white girlfriends.
So these types of con artists are willing to contradict their entire beliefs and what they teach when it's time to think without using their brains. Just ask Umar Johnson. who is the exact same person as he is.
I've always had white women.
Are you totally against interracial relationships?
I am totally against it, and I want to make sure you understand why. It's not because... Cut it out,
And these are the type of people that you trust with your money, or with your way of thinking, or even your way of life, for that matter? If you answered yes, then just know that I will disappoint you in this sense, because I'm not here to entertain or mislead or scam you like these type of actors are doing to you right now. I tell people all the time that you don't have to believe anything I say. In fact, I don't want you to, because you are your own human being and you can conduct your own research, which I highly recommend anyway. I'm just Dane Calloway, and I'm just here to make you think.